Broadcasting live from the World Wide Web, delivering the news 24/7 and the best Filipino entertainment in an online television. Blockbuster movies, great shows, music videos, and more. Serving the Filipino community in Northern America and the rest of the world. This is MCBN.TV, connecting our world.
Okay. It's kind of feel weird. I'm sorry. I got a cue that I need to talk, but it's like I can see myself and hear the music. Anyhow, so the show or the topic is all about leadership, and we made a lot of reaction already when I posted. Filipinos are just followers and not leaders. So the bottom line is, how can we be big? Can we be a leader? Can we dream big and we be considered leaders in the community and be known by others rather than just, I'm so tired of being known as a hard workers. I know that already. But as a Filipino, I know we have the greatest potential to be a leader. But what does it look like? So please, ask your questions, comments. I'm going to read them. I know some people I'm going to mention, so we're going to be doing that today. And we will be joined by Joy Paijantan. No, Panjaitan. Said it correct? Yes. And she's a fourth-year designer in a university. And a lifelong learner that all people should actually say that rather than this young lady who's so brave to join in our conversation. And I would say the power couple in the Filipino community, Ronnie and Claire De La Gana, the founders of Golden Balangay Awards and iKubo Media. So please stay tuned and connect with us in Facebook Live. Well, of course, you're already live. So we'll see you later.
Favorite Tickets, your trusted Filipino travel experts. We offer daily hot deals, 24/7 customer support, Tagalog-speaking agents. Seats are limited. AS Favorite Tickets, the only travel agency you need.
For the first time ever on a Toronto stage, Cheeky Crown Media, in association with Stayman Estates and MCBN Media Group, in cooperation with Black Diamond Event Management, present Diva to Diva. Diva to Diva. It's a clash of world-class Pinoy talents, the goddesses of music, back to back with the queens of the night. Diva to Diva. Cool Ledesma, Shasha Padilla, Mitch Valdez, Nanette Inventor. An evening of laughter and sighs, of ageless beauties and voices, and of fun moments and punchlines. It's a showdown of performances. Diva to Diva Toronto, September 22nd at the Toronto Pavilion. Caregivers, unite! Your show is here. ATC. Ito tayong mga caregivers. Caregivers na nasa ibang parte ng ating mundo o nasa Canada mismo. Sama ka na sa palatuntunang tutugon sa iyong mga hinaing, sasagot sa mga isyong bumabagabag sa inyong damdamin. Pag-uusapan ang mga temang napapanahon at mga hamon sa buhay ng mga caregivers ng kasalukuyang panahon. ATC, kasama ang inyong ating ATV Pagaduan. This program is brought to you by Action Honda, where car ownership is made easy.
Back. We're just actually having our own conversation already. So Filipinos are not just followers. Not just, well, it's a good perspective. We are not just followers. But are we leaders? Like, do we really consider ourselves as Filipinos as leaders? It's almost like really a big topic. Like, should we? Should we not? I mean,
are we or are we not?
Are we? Are we not? Like, well, both of you, like, you've done a lot of things in the community. You did flavors, Golden Balangay, Leader Summit. Like, it's almost like part of the reason why I invited you is kind of really to ask you what's the inspiration behind that. Or you just want to be busy, like, because you can stay in one place.
Well, I wish we could say that. But you know what? Kasi naniniwala kami, we do believe that, you know, there's a lot of good things in each and every one of us, especially
Yes.
the Filipinos.
Yes.
We excel so well in everything that we do. Yes, we're hard workers, but we're quiet. No, we are. Hindi natin flaunt eh. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's as if you're waiting for somebody to recognize you. I guess, you know.
We don't toot our horn.
So, and what in all the things that we're doing, because ganun nga nature natin, we don't toot our horns. Maybe it's just appropriate that, you know, somebody has to uplift the community and say, oh, this person is doing this person is doing that, so that people will see na, oh, he did that. Oh, maybe I can do it as well. You know? So just taking inspiration from what others are doing. I think that's what's driving us to make these events.
But it's a lot of work. I mean, I know you're talking about a lot of like collaboration and a lot of people coming together. And so I'm interested, are people really coming together? So there's or they consider themselves in this kind of like tiny groups, like there's so many leaders and not suddenly there's no followers.
Well, followers, the word follower is a good trait for Filipino community. I mean, for individual.
Filipino,
as a Filipino,
Yes.
we're known that we are a good follower. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
But having a, you know,
I can challenge you with that, but
Mark that first.
that's right.
part that later after mag-sign off tayo.
I'm not gonna give you coffee anymore.
Yeah. So, what's the question? The second question is about leadership, right?
Yes.
Are we getting together? The
collaboration,
collaboration.
Yeah.
We just started it because we have this what you call part of our culture, the bayanihan. Why not buhayin natin, di ba?
I know, that's
Buhayin
big,
natin. And
what you're
that's what
doing.
we tried at Flavors PH.
Yes.
And true enough, some community agree and some are not, of course.
In what
So-
way they don't? Some communities are our own community group or like other culture.
No,
Community leaders.
our own community,
leaders,
groups, different community groups.
But okay, I have a big thing with that. Like that, I've always heard that in our own community na there's factions. Like marami siya. Like parang I would say the term na nag-aaway-away. It always happened that way, and that's why when I say leadership, that's not what you call leadership. That's now how we embody leadership in our community, or even like now a Filipino being in Canada. Like even myself, like it wasn't really aware that this is all happening until I came here. In the Philippines, like we're all kind of always saying, sure, you're working, you have a boss and all the stuff. As soon as you come here, or came here, it becomes different. Like I didn't know that until kind of like later when I see and talk to people that, you know, then suddenly you're working and you see like how many Filipinos are actually there on the top. No one. Like when you see a lot of like workers, and then politicians, none. But how many like out of Filipinos in Ontario? Just in Ontario, 250,000. In Canada, like 1 million. And who do you call a leader?
I can definitely add to that and go back to what Claire said about like humility and trying to like waiting for someone to praise you. I find that with the way I see it, it's kind of not our first instinct to be a leader because of the Filipino values. They say they're being polite, being friendly, making sure you're in good terms with everybody, not confronting or not making anyone angry. But that doesn't always go in line with what you're tasked with as a leader. Because I come from designer corporate background and corporate structures. As a leader, you have to confront people. You have to call them out sometimes. You'd be like, where is this thing? You have to kind of make tough decisions, and sometimes it doesn't come naturally based on what we were taught growing up. Well, personally, as a Filipino, with those values of like humility and then
It's almost like the word coming up to me is submissive.
Or passive, submissive.
It's always like that because that's part of the reason why we're good followers. But because that's why I said I'm going to challenge you with that, because like it's submission to me. And the submission, it kind of like gives me an impression that we're fearful, we're scared, like we're almost scared that we don't even have enough confidence in ourselves. On the other side, like we're great people. Other culture love us. Like suddenly, if we looked at ourselves and within our community, and we're the ones who's almost like putting ourselves down.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to ask, like, why is that?
I guess it all depends on the expectations. There's different kinds of leaders, diba? And each and every one of us have different expectations of what we foresee or what we see as a leader. We're looking for certain traits. We're looking for certain personalities. Pag hindi mo na nagustuhan yung first interaction nyo, that's it. You like everything, like if you first impression mo, like you look up to that person, and then your first face-to-face encounter didn't turn out so well, ayoko na sa kanya. That kind of thing. But again, it all boils down to your expectation. What is your expectation of a leader? Being a leader, I think there's a very, very high expectation. I guess that's why people sometimes hesitate to get into that role, because they don't want to, as you said in your book, being hurt. They don't want to be put in a certain position na mapapahiya, madi-disappoint, maruruwin ang kanilang integrity. And when that happens, ayoko na. I am not gonna. Ayoko na, bahala na rin sa buhay, kind of thing, right?
No, I get that. Like, I mean, and I always kind of argue also, but we're in a different country now. Like, how they operate here is different. And are we not resilient and adaptive enough to adapt to that without losing our own identity or values? So it bugs me. It really bugs me. I mean, like I really want to see a great politician to be, helping run the country or the government. And I want to see a lot incorporate like Filipinos. Like we have such compassionate nature that we can balance like what power and authority and being compassionate.
That's true. I agree.
But then again, why we are not there?
I have another point to add also what you're saying about like how we're in a different country now. In terms of like moving up our position and becoming leaders. For example, like I have this dentist I go to, and my dental assistant's Filipino, and she kind of hates her job. She's always complaining like, I always get to do the grunt work. The dentist just bosses me around, because she does get kind of bullied. Like they assert her and they just tell her what to do, and she's really overwhelmed by it. And I was like, so why don't you just become a dentist? Like, why do you have to stay a dental assistant? And she said, I have to go to school again. I have to do this again.
Oh,
I don't want to do that.
I know.
And then she's like, well, compared to the people back home, I'm a lot better where I am. So it's kind of like I compare myself to back home. I'm in a good place. Why do I need to move up? So I see that a lot sometimes. I
hear that often, really. Again, so much frustration. And I said this topic is like really getting into me. But I was thinking about that also, that we try the tendency for us, like whether in Canada or US, wherever you are, like leaving the Philippines, like we almost feel that why work beyond to what we're doing right now, because it's comfortable compared to where I was. Comfortable in a ways that you're earning, you've got a house, you got a car, and you can't do that in the Philippines, even like a dental hygienist. So I always kind of like giving that rationale also for that end. But at the same time, should we just accept being convenient and comfortable? And do we just stay there or go beyond? And what's beyond? Like, what's out there though? Is that part of the reason why we don't?
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice, right? First, I think you have to understand, what do you really want to do in life? Are you already happy and contented with, with just what you have? Maybe you can complain all day, but you're not gonna do anything about it anyway. So okay ka na ganon. Diba? So that's your choice. But there are other people who find themselves like this is not enough. I want to do more. I have to do something. I need to do that. I need to do other things. I need to give back to the community. And like the two of us, we came from the Philippines. We've been very obedient members or good members of a community, like the Couples for Christ. But it came to a certain point na this is parang we can do more. We can do more than this. We can get out of our box, our comfort zone, and do more. Like it's itching eh.
So okay, where's the itch coming from? Like what do you want to create?
Actually, it started with inspiration.
Yes.
I was working in the media industry, and then I saw this magazine. That's my first take of joining the community when I published a magazine, Tahanan magazine. The inspiration of that magazine came from the Canadian Immigrant magazine. And I saw I'm reading the magazine, the Canadian Immigrant, and I don't see any Filipino. And then another issue, I saw 1, and then 2, and then back to 0. Sabi ko, why is it that? Ba't ganon? And then I found out the publisher is another
Southeast Asian.
Southeast Asian, no Filipino. That's the reason why I was so inspired and said, I can challenge this. I know a lot of Filipino because we're leaders. I know the leadership is innate in
each and every one.
Each and every one of us, diba? We can lead our family, we can lead somewhere, but you know what? The big role of leadership is not. Sometimes we're scared, diba?
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot of Filipino in our community that leads in executive level, sa bank, sa different industries, insurance and everything. That inspires me. Because how come these people are not, bending and joining the community to help the community
there
grow?
You go. That's a question.
That's
a question, Ronnie. Answer that, please.
That's how we started.
Okay.
And then we, because I think publishing a magazine, I can 100% cover the Filipino community.
Yeah.
Give inspiration to the community. That's how it started.
Is it profiling them that there are Filipinos who are successful, who tried hard and beyond what is actually enough, and they've done that also.
But sometimes the problem is the trust. If you first started, sino ka?
There's that question.
The question that we ourselves Filipinos question the other.
No, sometimes they will question you.
Why are you doing
Why are you doing this? What is your interest? What is your...
Sino ka para mag-start?
That's interesting.
Yeah, you get those questions. Like, what's your background? They check. Yeah. Are you a
You're
journalist?
probably not a Filipino.
There's always that question.
I think that's a good point that you brought up when you flipped through the magazine. You didn't see any other Filipinos.
No.
I think that's also one of the reasons why that's a stumbling block when it comes to leadership, because it's like, if I take on a leadership role, I feel a little bit out of place. Like, am I supposed to be here? Did I belong here? Because there's no one like me. No one looks like me that's in leadership roles that I see around a lot. So you feel like weird being there. It's strange.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a way, yes. But questioning it would start from something. That it's something kind of like would inspire. That's kind of like what happened to you. When you question it and inspire me to do something, what's great about it, you put an action to that.
Exactly.
But that's my question. Well, that's my question. That's a part of my, I would say, argument, because a lot of people argue with me. But I wonder what stops us from taking that action. And that's what we're gonna ask you later. I think what we try to do here is to make you think, and from that thinking, what stops you from getting into kind of like the next step. So we're going to continue that conversation, but please engage us in Facebook Live or mcbngroup.com or mcbn.tv, wherever you are. Challenge us because we want you to be part of our conversation. That's a good question. Have the older and you got the young, like, but is it the same what's happening right now? Like, it's like in this generation that you feel that there's not a lot of people that you can look like as a model that you can, look up to. You guys seeking that, or you yourselves kind of like questioning, and should I be one or not at all?
It's always mixed for me. Like sometimes it depends like which space I'm in. Like for example, I used to think that like a few other Filipino friends I had, like always going to the same career paths all the time. So then in my head I'm like, oh, we're all just followers. But then when I got this job where my manager is actually Filipino, I was like, whoa. My manager is Filipino. This is amazing because I've never seen that. Yeah, you feel.
Is that what's that? Like, it's a sense of pride. Like,
and it's like I can do that too now because now that I see other people doing it, it can be done. So, yeah.
And I think that's I like what you're doing with the Golden Balangay. It's kind of like when you try to put them there, people would see like, oh, Filipino, I can do that too.
Yeah. Who would have thought that a young, a very, very young lady would lead or coordinate a search for a missing Filipino? Like, who would even thought about that? A girl, a babae, very short, Who would think about that? Like, there's these great stories. Like, there's a lot of like leaders, quiet leaders, Mahal, in the community that are just waiting. We just need to let other people know she's doing this, she's doing that too.
I like when you say quiet and leader. It's almost like really opposite. But I like it's a good perspective. It's like a quiet leader. Like, how do you do that?
Because I just like when they get nominated, like they feel so humbled and so honored na, meron palang nakaka-recognize ng ginagawa ko. It's like it's a big thing for them na, like it's being valued. What I'm doing is being valued.
So then, a follow-up with that, do we then, as, ourselves, we don't put a lot of value or recognition in ourselves, that it takes other people to do that?
In ourselves?
Yes.
I guess.
Because it seems to me it's a big thing. Like, whether it's an award or not, I think like when you've been recognized, like it's a big thing. Yeah. But so that's when I question, like, do we need that, or like we're lacking that, our own recognition, our own value, where it takes for others to tell us that you're good, you can be. For us, you can do that. You can say that.
I'll give you an example. Alberto Rodil. He landed top in a RBC Canadian Immigrant 2016. But he felt very emotional. He valued, I should say, mas na-appreciate niya yung Golden Balangay Awards because it's a recognition from the community.
Actually, that's the vision of the Balangay. We want to recognize our own people.
Acceptance from, and accolade from your community, coming from your community.
Yeah, you can be recognized by commission.
It's a big thing.
Well, it's almost the same thing when you said that. It's almost the same thing that when your own family or your parents say a great job or a good job to you, it's better than when other people saying that. So it's almost kind of like you said, that's kind of like really almost the personality what Filipinos made up. Like it's kind of like rooted to that.
Yeah. I also find that like being humble is such a big thing in our culture. Like if people brag too much, we see it as like why are they trying to lift themselves up? We have to wait for us to brag about you. You can't brag about yourself. And
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't necessarily know. But yeah, so that's something that I see too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it also has to do with the fact that, well, personally growing up, like in, as a Christian or like in a religion, we kind of separate our accomplishments with like, oh, someone of higher power helped us, if other people support us, instead of us saying we did it, like owning up to what we accomplished. Yeah, I'm not saying that you should say I did it all by myself. I'm just saying that like give ourselves more credit for what we do and be confident in it. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, are we on right now? All right, sorry. If you compare it to the Western, like it sounds kind of like different when they're talking about leadership or being assertive, being confident. There's a different flavor to it. It's always like that's a natural way for you to do it, like being a leader. It's like it's natural for you to inspire people. Like you hear that often, like empower, inspire, like you need to be in the forefront, and so different. Then you talked about, that's why I want to, and that's what comes to me. Let's define leadership in Filipino community. Or should we not? And then make it general because we're in different country right now.
Mahirap mong i-define kasi kinakahon mo na.
I like that.
If you said something like that, then people are gonna expect, oh, he should be like that. Alam mo yon? You're now limiting, parang nililimit mo na ngayon yung definition ng isang Filipino leader. Like if you actually look around, they do things differently. They lead in different ways. In their own capacity. I guess what at the end of the day is that I think the confidence just needs to be built up. The confidence and ano ba talaga yung mission mo? You need to focus on that. Because regardless of what people are going to say, kung nakafocus ko na, I want to do more, I want to do this, I want to be sitting in one of the chairs of the red room someday, in the hill. I'm gonna have to start doing now. Diba? Hindi na ako maghihintay. And I don't care what people say, kahit pa, I'm working on a Dollarama right now, but one day I will be sitting there. If that's what he wants to do, he's gonna have to find a way and do it.
If you're grounded with your values, your mission, or your purpose, it doesn't matter what other people say, or doesn't matter where it should be, but you're grounded, you know your purpose, it makes sense.
But, I'm going to say a but.
We're going to continue with the but.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to listen. You're not going to listen to what the other, like your detractors. Take that as a blessing because there might be some things that you're nai-ignore mo, di ba? Na hindi mo na nakikita. So that they may be seeing some things that you can't because you're just so focused. Just listen to them, but don't let them stop you from what
Don't let that stop. Okay. And we're not gonna stop. We're gonna stop. Actually, before we go, I'm gonna read something in Facebook when I actually like I said, I posted in Ronnie's timeline. There's a lot of reactions already. It's very interesting, and we're gonna read that later.
Homecomings. Fresh starts. Goodbyes. Over the last 75 years, the unique warmth of our people has touched millions of lives.
The heart of the Filipinos shining through. Filipino lights shining through.
for the first time ever on a Toronto stage. Cheeky Crown Media, in association with Stayman Estates and MCBN Media Group, in cooperation with Black Diamond Event Management, present Diva to Diva. Diva to Diva. It's a clash of world-class Pinoy talents, the goddesses of music, back to back with the queens of the night. Diva to Diva. Cool Ledesma, Shasha Padilla, Mitch Valdez, Nanette Inventor. An evening of laughter and sighs, of ageless beauties and voices, and of fun moments and punchlines. It's a showdown of performances. Diva to Diva Toronto, September 22nd at the Toronto Pavilion.
Taste Filipino food on the run. Join Tikim, the first ever Filipino food fun run in Toronto. September 22, 2018, Earl Bales Park, Toronto. Register now. Visit mytfc.com/Tikim Toronto for details.
We should go, baka matraffic tayo.
Yes, coming. Alex, the flowers, please. Alex, please help ate. Alex.
Okay, okay.
Oh, where's Alex?
Lola! I miss TV time na with you and Lolo.
Me too, Apo.
There are most stand the test of time, from a sight, a sound, or scene. There's a love that's felt right in your heart, where the magic all begins. Anywhere you go, when the music plays, you smile and it's okay. From the radio, our song is played, the love that's shared today. These are the moments of our lives. Pinoy Radio, keeping our memories so alive. When I need a friend, I hold in hand. You right there by my side. All the memories back again to warm the heart today.
PinoyRadio.com. I love Filipino music.
This program is brought to you by iRemit. Sa iRemit, may ngiti sa bawat padala.
Okay. All right. I said that I'm gonna read Ronnie's in Ronnie's timeline. It's interesting. So one of it is from Rodel Ramos. Filipinos, he agreed Filipinos are just followers when they are with white people. We're going to talk about what you said earlier. They seem to have the inferiority complex among whites, but when they are among their fellow Filipinos, they fight like hell for leadership because they think they are better than everybody else. Come on, okay. They sometimes use that crab mentality to bring, we've heard that, from down others. Of course, they are the ones who excel even among whites when their fellow Filipinos do not pull them down. And sure, I said I'm gonna share that. Bernardo de Colia said, "We are known to be big in many small things, but small in many big things." And Blaze said, "I don't agree that Filipinos are merely followers." Then again, this is just my reaction. I have Blaze was saying, "I have learned so much from Filipinos in many different jobs. They are the first to jump in and offer help, and their effort is beyond anything I have seen." I do see in big difference in Canadian-born Filipinos, though. That's what we're kind of asking earlier. So it's and then that's one thing that really gave me an impression, and I asked, so like, how do we break that barriers? It's a great thing that you shared earlier that we don't make ourselves big.
Yeah.
Explain that again, like you had that experience.
So yeah, like I was saying before, I did a recent internship this summer. It was for a small startup. I was the only female, and everybody else besides the other two interns were like tall white guys.
Yeah.
And I did my internship. I was the only designer, so I had to kind of take on big decisions and like stand up for my own design taste. And at the very end of the internship, I was doing an exit interview with my manager, and he was telling me, "No, I appreciate your work. It was great, but I do have some tips to give you to like help you grow as a better designer and worker in a corporate environment."
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that, every time I had a new idea or a critique or something to say, I would always walk in the office, but not by myself. I would be with my other intern. And he's like, why did you need your other intern and using him as a crutch instead of you just coming in yourself? And I said, well, because my ideas are new. Like, I don't know if they're good ideas, if they're worth sharing. He's like, all your ideas should be worth sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And one other really great tip that stuck with me was considering how, generally, especially in terms of with other white people, like what you were saying in the comment, I'm a short person, and in a room, he said that I should be really learning to make myself bigger and be okay with taking up that space. Because sometimes we're uncomfortable with, should I be taking up that much space? But yeah, so learning to be bigger and be okay with that.
I like that. That is not necessarily in size. It's like it's really how you feel and what that you're relevant and you're a person of value. Use that.
Yes.
And then we went into the confidence kind of like conversation, fear. Talk about that and being scared. And we even had a metaphor of like Filipinos are followers because like a leaf flowing in a river, we just follow. And then I said, like, when can be a big log in the middle of the river that creating ripples and creating new tides? We're gonna get there. When?
Yes.
Wait for another 3 or 4 decades. That's a big question.
It is a big question.
But it's just a matter of time. And I think we're sabi nga nila, if you don't start now, when?
Yeah.
If we don't start it, who's gonna start it, right? So, yun ang, when we did the Golden Balangay Awards, we said, why do we have to wait? Who are we waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
make it nationwide.
Yeah, let's. We were just thinking, school board wide nga lang, and then it happened. Oh, okay, let's make it bigger. Why do we have to do it? Like, let's go nationwide.
Yeah.
Like, let's make us, as much noise, and I think we're getting there. We're getting there, and there's a lot of people coming up, like really brilliant and amazingly talented Filipinos. Most of them actually, the category and category pinakamarami natin is the community service.
Community service. Sometimes 16 nominees in one category.
You will be like overwhelmed and just be blown away with their stories, what they are doing for their communities. Mm-hmm. So ito yung mga just I'm working
the quiet leaders. It's like so opposite. How could you be quiet and be a leader? But
I think one thing that I want to share, the challenge is that the generation gap.
In what way?
Yeah, because our older generation has a different, strategy leading the community.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know, because of our involvement sa younger folks, young leader natin, we learn a lot from them. Mm-hmm. Actually, magkaiba. Kaya I think this clash of leadership and studies or whatever practice,
Observations.
observation, yun ang nagiging problema sa ngayon. But as Claire said, darating yung time that yung big lag nandiyan na yun. Kasi there's a lot of contributions na dumarating.
Yeah.
And we have numbers.
It's in time when you say that, because we touched that a little bit last episode about the disconnect, and I wonder what the disconnect is all about. What really, for me, it's almost like we should allow it. Like whatever's kind of like happening, just allow. Or like older generation or the young generation, whatever that conflict or challenges, allow things just to happen.
Exactly.
And not whether you accept or not. I mean, it's a different perspective with like acceptance, right? But allow it. And rather than like speaking of a time and a time frame that it's just gonna happen in a year or two. And like you said, it's happening now. And it could happen now. And let's not wait. Let's make it happen now. So, at the almost like we're in the end. Like so
Already?
I know. That's what I said. This is the topic that you can go on and on a different tangent. But here's the question: what is so important about talking about this? Talking about leadership, talking about Filipinos being the forefront or leading kind of like behind, but still a leader. Like what is so important talking about that?
It is very important.
Okay.
Because one good thing is that we have numbers. If we have this, how many? 900.
Well, 350,000 in Ontario.
In Canada, if there's no leader in the community, if there's no mentor in the community, we're just running parang walang nangyayari. So it's very important that we have a representation. Might be in the politics, might be in the corporate life or in civic. I know sa civic marami kasi ang daming leaders dyan eh. But yung nag-take ng big step, yun ang nawawala.
Okay.
Kaya nagiging connotation natin, wala tayong leader. Actually, we have
lots of leaders. Yeah. So in a way, are you saying that we need a representation to follow, or to follow that's inspiring us to do more and be more and do greater things, rather than just like, yeah, we support you and follow you, and then it goes to the category that we're just followers again, though.
Yeah, actually, that's what we're looking for. My personal perspective. Kung sino man yun, dapat you should know your community. You should be helpful to the community, hindi yung pang sarili mo lang. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think it's a big thing, but that's the challenge kung sino man yung pupunta ron o mag-take ng risk to do, be in the public office. You should be a servant leader.
A servant leader.
A servant leader. Yun ang key doon eh. You need to be a servant leader.
And we know that we have that. Well, we're almost like when you say that, it's like we are all can be like that.
Oh yeah.
If we choose to be.
Yes.
Kasi we're a good follower.
In a unison, yes. It's like we totally agree.
We have to brush off that crab mentality. People will always use it as an excuse.
Nagiging excuse na sometimes.
Brush it off. And do something that you can. We're better off without it. So huwag ka na magpahuli sa ng sipit ng
take ko nga doon ako. I'm hearing a lot of that crab mentality, but for me, I just want to do whatever is take to do kung anong vision, di ba? And then little contribution to the community. And if you're doing little contribution, I think somehow we're going to meet somewhere. And that is the big thing that you're waiting for.
We're gonna meet in our crossroads.
Exactly. Marami na. I'm telling you. There's a lot.
I'm impressed and amazed when I know I did it kind of like only the halfway because it was after the show, but it's amazing. Like there's a lot of things that Filipinos are doing, very valued, significant, and it's almost like kind of like, oh, okay, should I stop asking them we're leaders, because we are kind of like leaders in our own way. It goes back to like, yes, we value ourselves, and it starts from there. And leadership is not only in a big corporate world, in the community. It can start or be in a home.
Yes,
that's true.
Exactly. You have to go back to home. To your home, because that's the smallest part of the society. And being a leader should start sa bahay at home. Submissive, you mentioned about submissiveness. I actually parked that at the back of my head because being a wife and a woman and a mother sa bahay, I should be submissive to the headship of the household,
There
right?
you go. Tandaan niyo yan.
But there should still be mutual respect about what each and everyone can do.
Yes.
You know your place in the bahay. Like, okay, you can be a leader at home. You want to be a leader sa labas, then walk the talk. Don't do anything differently sa labas and then pagdating mo sa bahay, iba naman ang ano mo. Diba? So, mahirap yun. So, start from your home. And if you want your children to be good leaders someday, show them how. Because if you don't, mauubusan tayo, mawawalan tayo ng mga leaders. So, for the parents out there, start showing them how to be good leaders. And I think your parents have shown you that. Exposing you to different things around the world, and you've learned from it. And I think we should do likewise, to the next generations.
They're ready. Like I almost like when I'm inviting people I always say you're a generation. Yeah, we're old people, So I almost like ashamed of myself. I guess almost like I haven't done enough. It's almost like and that's kind of like a question to me that what is that enough though? And you guys in your generation, it's an inspiration. It's truly an inspiration. And it's almost telling us like, wow, they're being relevant. How can we help them? And what the inspiration I'm getting from there is like, I could do something different. It's like we're also meeting in that crossroads. It's just really amazing. And then, go ahead. I have so much.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
I'm just excited. That crossroad.
We should all be very excited and be hopeful that someday it doesn't necessarily have to be another senator. It doesn't necessarily have to be another MP or MPP. We have a lot of young people running now and starting their way. Like starting from being a city councilor or even like trustees or they're getting there. And I am so looking forward to that day where we as a community are going to bask in the excitement and party and be joyful that I know that person kind of thing.
I think it's all about preparation. I met this young guy from Ottawa, but he lives in Scarborough. He said that he's running for politics, but he's preparing his way now. Ngayon pa lang, bata pa lang, nagpe-prepare na siya. Kasi alam niya na yung pupuntahan niya.
He wants to
I think that's the challenge of our old folks running here.
Our generation.
Yung generation natin. Sorry. Puti ng buhok. So, I think yun ang challenge Di ba? Yun ang challenge natin. Kaya nahihirapan tayo to get there. Yung preparation kulang. Very short. Immigrant kang dumating dito. Ang priority mo is to
survive.
Diba? That's the reality. We have to consider that. Diba?
And they're so blessed that they have this opportunity. They have, they came here at a very young age. They can start early. They have that long run.
If we have that conversation early though.
Yes.
It starts inside, kind of like with the family. They're telling me we're enough. Okay, so give me then each that what would be kind of like whether it's an advice or inspiration, like what you want to say to our community, to Filipinos, about whether leadership or about putting value to oneself. What's kind of speaking up like to inspire people?
You want to start? You guys can start. You have a lot to say. Ako na? Okay, I'll start. I think, first and foremost of all, know what you really want to do and focus on it. And once you know where you want to go, start now. Don't wait for it. Don't wait for it to happen. Don't wait for, like ask for a sign that should I do this or should I? If you're really itching to do it, you want to do it now.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Sa akin, very simple. Love your community. And then from that love, you will derive everything that you need.
You should get the community service award.
You're not qualified.
Not qualified.
Yeah. A lot of times I see in my other peers, the path they choose that's not so much in leadership is because they feel like they're not supported by others to become leaders. So I feel like they always look around at what their parents saying, what their peers are saying, what their coworkers are saying and why they shouldn't be a leader. But I think my advice would be to kind of like just tune that out just for a second and like really ask yourself, what do you want, despite like what anybody else is saying? Because to be honest, I feel like a lot of us have this hunger for like higher potential. Like honestly, all of us can be leaders, but it's just we don't really listen to that. We kind of hear other things, or we're scared and we hear these other voices. And so just listen to that and go with it, using the support from our community. I think it could get us a lot, get us places.
Yeah. Well, we only have 1 hour and we already ended. Okay, so did they hear us in the background? Or okay. Are we in a commercial? Yeah. Okay, and then are we still coming back? Yes, very good. It's such a good idea. See, this topic that got me lost. No, it's are we coming back? For how long do we have?
Commercial.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be back. Sorry, I don't know.
Homecomings. Fresh starts. Goodbyes. Over the last 75 years, the unique warmth of our people has touched millions of lives.
The heart of the Filipinos shining through. Filipino lights shining through.
For the first time ever on a Toronto stage, Cheeky Crown Media, in association with Stayman Estates and MCBN Media Group, in cooperation with Black Diamond Event Management, present Diva to Diva. Diva to Diva. It's a clash of world-class Pinoy talents, the goddesses of music, back to back with the queens of the night. Diva to Diva. Cool Ledesma, Shasha Padilla, Mitch Valdez, Nanette Inventor. An evening of laughter and sighs, of ageless beauties and voices, and of fun moments and punchlines. It's a showdown of performances. Diva to Diva Toronto, September 22nd at the Toronto Pavilion.
Taste Filipino food on the run. Join Tikim, the first ever Filipino food fun run in Toronto. September 22, 2018. Earl Bales Park, Toronto. Register now. Visit mytfc.com/Tikim Toronto for details.
Go, baka matraffic tayo.
Yes, coming. Alex, flowers please. Alex, please help ate. Alex.
Okay, okay.
Lola! I miss me time ng Diwan Lolo.
Me too, Apo.
stand the test of time, from a sight, a sound, or scene. There's a love that's felt right in your heart, where the magic all begins. Anywhere you go, when the music plays, you smile and it's okay. From the radio, our song is played, a love that's shared today.
PinoyRadio.com. I love Filipino music.
This program is brought to you by iRemit. Sa iRemit, may ngiti sa bawat padala.
Sorry, I got lost. Hopefully we captured all our conversation. So we have only really a few minutes, but so what now for you based from this conversation? I think it's a challenge. I always say like there's an action on what we're going to do, what inspired us. So for you, being part of the conversation now, what now to impact the community?
Ako na naman nauna. But it's funny because my husband was telling, basically, you tell it from your own story. Ikaw yung taong, like, you look around, nobody raised it. Sige, ako na. Like, right? I think it's good. We should all be doing that. Like, we should, but again, raise your hand, but know your limitations as well. But if it lines up with what you want to do in life, go ahead, raise your hand. Right?
No one stops you.
No one should be stopping you from doing it. Just do it. I think we have so many potentials in our community, and we should start celebrating and looking at it. And for those who are doing really, really well, keep your light shining. Just continue to inspire people.
I like to celebrate. Like, that's a good word. I think something to really think about that we need to do.
We'll continue to do what the mission and mandate of the iKubu Media, which aligned to the celebrating the successes of the younger people, millennials, and also recognizing the accomplishments nung mga nauna sa atin. So we enjoy doing that. So I think we just need to fine tune kung ano yung, and that's why we're getting feedbacks from audience and other friends, the attendees, and so
just keep it coming.
Keep it coming, and we'll just continue to engage and para ma-inspire the community, and then hopefully, again, I want to use that crossroad.
I know, I like that also.
I like that. I think this is the word for this particular episode.
We'll meet in our crossroads.
Exactly. So when we get there, magtitingin na lang sa mata. Oh, ito na yon. This is it.
That's nice, actually. It's almost like, when I say disconnect earlier in the gap, it's like, that's what it is. We bridge honoring what has been accomplished and then inspire and highlight people are still accomplishing. That's how the bridge and the connection is all about.
Because they've already paved the way for us, for this generation.
For sure. It's a matter for you guys walking in. So what can you say?
All the pressure's on us. I think it's also important because we talked about how we're really hardworking. We're always helping people. We're always doing that. I think it's important to understand that those traits will eventually make us become leaders without even knowing it. We just kind of have to take that opportunity. Like, for example, right now I'm actually the director of design for TEDx. and
so
one of the tenants. And then usually it's just one director of design, but this year they're like, Joy, we actually were wondering if you would want to have associate under you to kind of help out, and you have to mentor her and give her responsibility, making sure everything's done on time. At first I was like, wait, I usually do my own job and just get things done. I don't tell other people how to get things done. Like I was really hesitant to accept that associate. But afterwards, after talking to my lead, I was like, okay, fine, I'll take her in. Yeah. So like being able to embrace the leadership roles as they come, because really great workers eventually have opportunities to become leaders. But I was just really scared because I didn't want to tell people what to do. But like we just talked about, but I'm learning. And,
exactly. Yeah, so proud of you. She's walking the big way.
The way that you did.
Yeah. I appreciate the being courageous enough to actually admit that, the scared and being careful, but in a way it really makes sense to you, and now really you're inspiring people how to do that. And thank you for doing that. And the power couple, I always say power couple, the Superman and Wonder Woman. Who wears the cape? Like, no, I appreciate you doing the work that you're doing and continue doing it without really recognizing in your own. You don't need that. You don't inspire people, and that's what we want for you, whoever you are listening, and hopefully you get a lot of like inspiration. And I really want to ask, just take an action. Like my cup says, make it happen. So see you next week, and we have lots of good conversations. So.
MCBN, connecting our world.